100K businesses. I'm talking to you. I posted a video about a client or someone who reached out to me basically saying, Leo, I'm doing 100K a month, but I see nothing left over. And so I posted that video, and in the last 3 days, I received 4 people, 4 companies who are in the same situation. And let me explain something. People dream to get to 100K. And then they realize, hey, I was making more money when I was smaller. Here I am, bringing in a lot of money, and 100K is nothing to sneeze at per month, is nothing to sneeze at. And what happens is people think, okay, I'm working with my hands. I'm going to hire more and more people. I'm going to get more and more people to do the work. I'm going to get to 100K, and eventually I'll make more money. But it doesn't work that way, because the break-even point for construction renovation companies is generally between 1.2 and 1.5 million. So if you're doing 100K, you're still underwater. You don't have the infrastructure that you need in order to make money. You need to get north of that in order to make money. And what do I mean, Leo? What do you mean by infrastructure? What if you don't have a general manager, if you don't have a CEO, if you don't have project managers, if you don't have a marketing department, a sales department, and all the teams, especially project managers, if you don't have people on job sites to make sure that what you budgeted for that job is what you're delivering, right? So in other words, you budgeted 3 days for demolition, or 30 man hours for demolition. Did you get it done in 30 or 29 man hours? Framing. Framing was supposed to be 30 man hours. Did you get it done within the 30 man hours? Because if you don't, this is where your profit leaks happen, right? If you look at some of my other videos where we look at all the projects you signed, look at your margins, let's say 30 or 40% margin, and you calculate those margins, you're supposed to have, let's say, $1 million in terms of net profit. And yet most contractors end up with 2 to 5% net profit, right? And a lot of the contractors that I spoke with recently that are making 100K per month, $100,000 per month, are taking no salary. This is just bizarre. You got to understand how bizarre this is. First of all, you are in the construction industry. The construction industry has been the most profitable industry consistently since 1920. The most profitable industry consistently since 1920. So how are you not making any money? So let's backtrack a little bit. You started your business by working with your hands, right? So you figure you are the business. The business was designed around you. So now you're trying to back away from the business, and you're saying, well, I can't back away because I am the business. You're trying to hire people, but your mindset says, I can't trust people, which means you hire people, you don't empower them, and you cut them off at the knees. Right? You cut them off at the knees. So you're paying them huge salaries to be project managers and crew chiefs and so on. Then you cut them off at the knees because you don't empower them and you don't trust them. Because deep down in your heart you have no systems in place to make your business profitable. Which means you can't go on holidays for 2 weeks without your phone and your computer, which means you are still the business. Whether you are on the job site or you're not on the job site, you are the business. You've designed the business around you, right? You cannot change it overnight just because you say you want to back away from the business, right? You taught your clients to only call you. You taught them. You trained your clients to only call you. So how can you now expect them to call your project manager? It doesn't work. When someone is paying $300,000 or $500,000 or even $1 million for a project, they don't want to deal with your employees. You've taught them to deal only with you. That's how you got the job. That's how you got credibility, right? So if you want to truly design a $5 million, $10 million, $20 million business, you can't do it the way you started your company. It's impossible. The proper way to launch a company is to create trust 1 to 10 years before launching the business. 1 to 10 years before launching the business. Once you, I'm not going to get into a lot of detail, but 3 months before launching, that's where your salespeople start training. 3 months before launching. Because now you have a whole bunch of leads coming in. You want to close those leads. And 2 weeks before launching, you start with your crew chiefs. You start training your crew chiefs. Then on launch day, you start with 10 contracts. You start with 10 projects or 3 projects if you want to play it safe, right? But you start with a full team. You start with margins to make sure you have the margins to pay for your general manager, your salespeople, your office staff, your sales people. I think I said salespeople, but your admin staff, right? If you don't want to be part of the picture, you're not part of the picture on day one, okay? You don't cut off your people at the knees. It's your project managers that are at full control, right? Your project managers take the project from the salespeople who hand off the project to the salespeople. Mrs. Jones, I'm in charge of sales. I've done my job. I've helped you with design. I helped you with picking colors. You know, our interior designers have helped you choose the colors and the furniture and everything laid out. We've done the traffic flow patterns. We've done everything possible. We've done the project. We've, eliminated all the mistakes that we possibly can. The project manager will take it from here and complete the project on your behalf. That's what a well-designed business looks like. But you, as the owner, are not in the picture. Okay? You should be running your project from your sailboat or your cottage. Right? You only step in once a month to make sure everything, all the gears are in place and everything's working the way it's supposed to work. Right? So you can't design an outhouse, then renovate it to the Empire State Building. That's not how businesses work. If you want a $5 million business, you design the infrastructure for a $5 million business, and in 1 to 3 years, you get to $5 million. Okay? Before you launch, you start with a policy procedure manual. You start with, training manuals. You start with, all the 33 tools. All the 33 tools are in place before you launch your business. If your goal is to get to $5 million, you design a $5 million business. You don't start with a $500,000 business, demolish that and build $1 million business, demolish that and a $2 million business. It doesn't work that way. You design or you build what you've designed. We've created 1,000 millionaires in our 40-year career, right? I made a lot of mistakes. I started my first construction business when I was 17, made my first million before I was 25, making those mistakes. But the mistake that I didn't make as at 12 years old, I started looking for mentors and advisors. I should have demanded that they get more involved. Look at my financials. Look at everything. Meet my team. Look at everything. Because there's only so much you can see from your perspective. You need to have people from different perspectives. And that's why I have 6 business advisors today. Because I can only see things from my perspective. I need to see things from their perspective. Right? So I hope that helps. If you are the one stuck in a 50,000, 50K, 100K, 150K, and you're struggling to make a profit, is because you don't have the infrastructure. You don't have the business blueprint. You haven't eliminated all the future potential problems, right? Join our group mentoring events. My calendar link is on my profile. If you truly want to get to $5 million or $20 million, we can help you get there. We've done it 1,000 times. Post your questions, comments below. Let's start the conversation. Take